Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Still feels good. Still feels good today, man. Still feels like you knocked out Mike Tyson. Still feels like you're on top of the world. And whatever else this season has to throw at me, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to take it on. I'm open to the possibility of this team getting on a run, winning more games than people expect, and having a good season. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We're off to a good start. We showed positive signs, and most importantly, we're laying a pretty nice foundation for these Seahawks. And that's what today's video is about. It's Rookie Watch Tuesday, except we're doing it on a Wednesday because we played Monday. So everything gets bumped down just a little bit. But regardless, Rookie Watch Tuesday on a Wednesday. And I did have somebody ask, and I think it's actually a pretty good idea, throw in the sophomores. Throw in the guys who were rookies last year. Throw in the handful of guys that we have who may or will contribute as sophomores. So I added a few extra players to this chart. It's not going to increase the amount of time it takes by that much. I mean, Lord only knows. The draft class and UDFA class from 2021, it's pretty weak. It's pretty soft. So it's not going to add a whole lot to this. But let's talk about how the rookies and the sophomores played against Denver. Let's break it down a little bit. I have some stats on screen, but we're also going to talk about it in a more not just pure statistical sense. So offensive line, we had two rookies play every snap. And that right then and there is a pretty good start. Cross and Lucas played every snap. Cross, he started out great. As the game went on, he got beat a couple times. 2 sacks allowed. Both sacks that Denver had by Bradley Chubb were on Cross. He allowed 4 total pressures. And because of that, his total overall PFF rating was only 52.4. You can see that he did his run blocking fairly well, 64.8, so that's a pretty good grade for your run blocking. But you can see where, as the game went on, especially, Chubb was able to get the best of him, which you would expect. Chubb is a good player, and he's a veteran, and Cross is playing in his first ever NFL game. So that's going to happen. And also, if we're being straight honest, Geno could have stood to maybe step up in the pocket on those. Abe Lucas, on the other hand, played a really good game. Only 2 pressures allowed, 0 sacks, run block grade of 73.1, overall grade of 71.6. Very strong. And watching this game, this is something that me and the Hawks Nest talked about a little bit yesterday on his stream. Didn't seem like we were helping either guy that much. They were just kind of told to fend for themselves. You've got Chubb, you've got Randy Gregory, maybe the 2 best players in this Denver front 7. And we're not going to help you a ton. And by the end of that game, maybe we were kind of wishing we had helped a little bit on Cross's side with Chubb. But the fact that these guys held their own without getting a whole bunch of help, I did notice that Will Dissly was in the game quite a bit, but it didn't seem like he was in the game for help with pass blocking, maybe more so run blocking. But Dissly was running a decent number of routes as well, so these guys were kind of on their own. And the fact that they didn't get completely punished out there is a positive sign. So even though Charles Cross didn't grade out super well, I think he played about as good as you could hope. And Lucas just played really well outright. Remember, this grade is definitely getting docked because of his penalty, which, I mean, that's a thin penalty, right? Like, I'm not going to say it's a terrible penalty, but it's a thin one, especially with what Cam Fleming was getting away with on Darrell Taylor. But regardless, good start there. Curhan and Forsyth did not play because the whole offensive line stayed healthy for one game. So that's a victory in and of itself. Those are the 2 main people to talk about, I think. Mafe did play a handful of snaps. Didn't really do anything. 52.5 PFF rating. Seemed like he didn't have much of an impact on the game, but didn't play that much. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Mafe's raw. Mafe is going to take a little while to get his sea legs underneath him, I think, in the NFL. Not surprised. The other 2 linebackers, or quote-unquote linebackers, not even on the active roster at this point. Ken Walker was out, and there really wasn't a whole lot to speak of the two rookies or sophomores on offense, skill position-wise, who did play. Derek Young played 4 snaps, didn't see a target. PFF grade is basically like a flat. I don't know, maybe this is the grade they give you when you don't really do anything and you're just kind of out there. 59.2, sure. D. Eskridge got a 60.5. He played 5 snaps, so again, meaningless sample size. He did have 1 catch for no yards, but there was a penalty on Denver on the play, so we got yards out of it, so cool, I guess. Don't really know what's going on with Eskridge right now. It's it seems like he might not know the playbook. Maybe we just weren't interested in using those particular plays against Denver. I did say that I felt like their strength on defense was on the boundaries. Run the ball up the gut, you can do some damage, but you go to the boundaries, that's when you're dealing more with Chubb and Gregory, and they've got a nice secondary, so maybe that was part of it. I don't know, but there it is. And defensive back-wise, there was some interesting stuff here. First of all, Kobe played 2 snaps, got beat for a 67-yard touchdown. He got badly beat, and then we didn't see him again. So that one, right, just throw it out. It's a bad play, but he'll learn. It'll get better. The interesting one to talk about here is Tariq Woolen, and the $50 million question with Tariq Woolen is, how do you feel about those 2 pass interference calls he got? The first one, like, here's what I'm going to say about that one, because some people think it was a bad call. I think it looks like pass interference when you watch it in real time, so the referee is right to throw his flag. But if you really watch the play in slow motion, it actually seems like Woolen kind of turned around and then Sutton made contact first. I don't know. That one might not be a penalty. He did turn around, but then he turned back around, but then he didn't really make contact with Sutton until Sutton had grabbed him. I don't know. I'm open to it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with the official for throwing the flag there because it looked like pass interference in real time. So I can't blame them for throwing the flag there. Other than those 2 penalties, the second one I think was clear-cut. The only point of contention is, did Woolen prevent a touchdown with that play? Was he beat for a touchdown if he didn't grab? Some people think so. I'm not sure Hamler saw the ball. Either way, Denver didn't score, so whatever. But those are the debate points for Woolen's game. Because other than that, Woolen played well. And you can see the PFF grade docks him heavily because those were 2 massive penalties. But he's still above 50 despite those 2 penalties defining a pretty big portion of his game. Because otherwise he played well. He had a tackle, he had a pass deflection, he was targeted 3 times in coverage and allowed 0 completions. Now, technically, yes, he was targeted 5 times and allowed 0 completions and 2 pass interference penalties. So it's not nearly as good as it sounds. But regardless, my point is, those 2 penalties aside, you can see that Woolen is ready for this. Woolen is clearly ready to play in the NFL, which is shocking to me and shocking to many others because he came in so raw and he hung in there and he looked like he belonged out there. He played most of that game. And you guys saw it. When Kobe made his mistake, he basically got pulled from the game and didn't get to play again. When Woolen got pulled out, it was because of an injury, and as soon as he was able to go back in, he did. So that's very encouraging. You got to be high on that one right now. And Joey Blount and Trey Brown, of course, did not play. So that's the wrap-up for the rookies and sophomores. Let me know what you guys think. That's your rookie/sophomore watch for the first week. See you guys later. Go Hawks.